Asian men cannot continue to live like this. Video 1. A life without friends, romantic partners, purpose and meaning. This is the default setting in your life if nothing changes. You'll continue to work at this prestigious corporate gig that you have in the eyes of your Asian parents and friends. But deep down on the inside, you know that you're already dead. It's another day, another cup of coffee. What's the point? You're in the routine of life. It's very monotonous and second nature to you by this time. You finish your work for the day. You go home, play video games. And if you're lucky, you might look outside the window and wonder, what if? But you probably won't do anything about it because you're so comfortable and there's no reason to change. It's just another Tuesday. But deep down, you know that you'll continually miss out on meaningful relationships, struggle through masculinity, and allow society to define your self-worth and what they want from you and for you. It's pretty simple. The messaging is very clear. Asian men are invisible. And that's the title of one of my YouTube videos, so please look back and watch it. Hope you guys enjoy it because it's been 3 years. A lot has changed. This is what has been taught to us from a very young age, but to no fault of our own. I'm here to tell you that there's actually a solution to all this. If you choose to do the work and apply the practical guidance I present today, that's the real solution to all this. I can't guarantee that you'll succeed, but you'll be better off than where you started. That's for you to decide how far you want to go. Okay. Starting the journey. The only thing that you can change overnight is probably your attitude towards life. Everything else will take time, and that's okay. We're not looking for an immediate success. We're looking for you to identify your limiting beliefs. Okay, so let's define a limiting belief. I pulled this from the internet, so let's read it together. A limiting belief is a conviction or assumption that restricts or holds back an individual from reaching their full potential. These beliefs are typically negative, self-imposed, and often formed from past experiences, societal influences, or repeated negative thoughts. They act as mental barriers, shaping how a person perceives themselves, others, and what is possible in their life. So here's some examples that may pertain to you. Asian men are not masculine. Asian men are soft. Asian men just aren't sexy. We're smart, but very unattractive and unathletic. So now that I've outlined some limiting beliefs, we have to do a deep dive in the history of discrimination against Asian Americans. And this is very brief, okay? So look for it on your own. An article written by Jade Yamasaki Stewart. Discrimination comes from stereotypes used to degrade Chinese male immigrants in the late 1800s who were viewed as a yellow peril that would take white men's job and endanger American society. Back then, Chinese people were portrayed in ugly characters with buck teeth and slanted eyes. Kind of fucked up. Okay. During World War II, the same caricatures were used by cartoonists in an effort to drum up enthusiasm for a war against Japan. According to Connie So, an American ethnic studies teaching professor at the University of Washington, during the Yellow Peril era, the notion that Asian men were feminine or asexual took root. So the stereotype started because a lot of Asian Americans worked on the railroads. Later on, Chinese and Filipino men took the jobs of women like cleaning, dry cleaning, all this. So this started to take form that Asian men were soft and kind of feminine because we were doing women's jobs. But that's the only jobs that were available for us to do when we first came to America. And these stereotypes grew into one of the strongest, most prevailing ideas about Asian men in America. That we are soft, that we aren't sexy, that we are unattractive. Now, if you think of American films and TV, think about Breakfast at Tiffany's or Leslie Chow in The Hangover. Like the accent that Mr. Chow does, it's over the top. It belittles us. It makes our accent funny and unattractive for the sake of humor versus being taken seriously. And I also feel bad because a lot of Asian men and women who come to this country have an Asian accent, and that's the way they sound. It's really hard to shake. And when you make fun of this, think of how embarrassing this is for them and the shame that you can bring. And you can't really change it. You can put the time and effort, but at the end of the day, that's the way you sound. The reason why I sound like an American is because I came here when I was 9 months old, so I don't have an accent. But I remember when my mom would go to these PTA meetings at elementary school or middle school or high school, my friends would make fun of her because of her accent and her English wasn't that great. She came here not speaking any English, and she learned it just through work or wherever she could go. She never had a proper education in English. So that shame and embarrassment I definitely feel, and that sucks because you're not being portrayed in a positive light and that they're making fun of your mother who works really hard to provide for you. So that's just the fuckness of America. I understand that Bruce Lee was a huge role model, you know, think of martial arts and stuff like this, but he was never portrayed in the romantic sexual era. He was shown as a badass, but there's never a romantic lover who is white, and I'll get to that in a second. So how does this impact you at all? Well, it's impacting you subconsciously through these negative messages. I remember growing up in Colorado, and I so desperately wanted to feel validated by white girls. I thought that by dating a white girl that I would make it. I didn't really start to decipher why this goal was there for me, but I'll get to that in a second. I didn't realize it at the time, but through movies, negative comments, and discrimination, I thought that if I could date a white girl, that I made it, that I could finally be accepted. This is the origin of the snow bunny theory. If I could date a white girl, I made it because white girls were the pinnacle of beauty in the Western world, and that all my problems would disappear. Granted, I did grow up in Colorado where there wasn't that many Asian girls to begin with, and it was just white snow bunnies. So as I grew up, started working out, cared about the way I dressed, and developed a strong, funny personality that you can see through my voice and through this YouTube channel, I started to hear, wow, you're actually really hot for an Asian guy. I didn't really know how to process this because I was like, wait, this is like a good statement. People think that I'm hot. But the Asianness was something that was hindering as a disability. It was holding me back from my full potential. I didn't really understand how to take this. I was happy because I was finally getting attention, but I still saw my Asianness as something that I needed to get rid of or lessen. But the message was clear. The more white I became, the better I'd fare in life. I now understand that my need to date white girls was just for validation. It's because the media showed white girls as the pinnacle of beauty, and if I accomplished this, I finally made it. So I'm here to tell you and hopefully save you some time. The validation simply isn't worth it. Giving up something that you can't change, in this case, your race, is never worth it for some pussy. Don't give up a part of yourself to please society, to please your immediate social circle. It's not worth it. You're gonna spend decades of your time in the future trying to reintegrate the past into the present because it caused you so much trauma. And I'm speaking from firsthand experience. Now, I'm not saying to not date snow bunnies or white girls, but do it out of abundance versus the need for validation. You have to be able to distinguish the difference now that you're dating someone because you want to versus the need for validation to prove that you're useful, to prove that you're hot, to prove something. Using someone as an object to prove something to yourself, it's kind of bullshit and will backfire. It's happened to me because that validation and happiness is so temporary, it'll disappear and you'll be left by yourself. Asian and all. We're here to break the cycle, not continue it. So what's the solution to all this? Acknowledge that internalized racism is impacting you whether you're aware of it or not. Do a deep dive in your so-called goals and see if this is influencing your metrics of success. The goal isn't to get a girlfriend or a hot date or get laid and say it's good. We're here to get out of the so-called matrix and live a life worth living. To not give up parts of yourself that you love just for validation from girls or society's validation. I know that high is so good, but eventually there is a consequence and there is a hangover. I'm here to tell you that you don't need to be white to succeed. You don't have to become more white to become successful. Maybe you have to assimilate to a culture. That's fine. Keep the parts that are good, adopt some new ones, but don't give up who you are to fit the mold of society. You need a spine and to speak up for yourself for once. To speak up against your Asian parents when they try to whip you back into being a good boy, because you will need to disobey them if you want to be successful. You're going to have to speak up against very hot, attractive women when they say you're very hot for an Asian man. When they say racist remarks, these are racist remarks. You have to do something about it, okay? Educate them. Sometimes education is painful. Most importantly, you need to speak up against your limiting beliefs. When your brain says that you're not good enough, you are good enough. You just need to change a little bit. Okay, deep down, change your perspective of the world, but you'll get there. But speak up against those limiting beliefs. That's so, so important. Speak up against your brain when it says you aren't attractive enough to date because you're Asian. That you aren't attractive enough when you're not getting online dates or in person. Give yourself a fighting chance by believing in yourself. Whether you believe in yourself 10% or 20%, it's better than 0%. And it will grow over time. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you can do it. I've been there. I've done it. So can you. You're going to need to think for yourself for once. Get out of the groupthink of online forums and on Reddit. Stop pitying yourself. No one wants to pity you. Be the hero of your own story, and I'm here to guide you. Okay, so I'll offer you a challenge for this week or month. It's going to take some time, but it's very simple. Identify one limiting belief that's holding you back. It can be as simple as this. I'm shy because this is the way I've been since childhood. But think about it. Or was this just a good excuse because you're afraid to get hurt? Or is this a good excuse to just try and justify your behavior in their past? It's a defense mechanism. You're trying to protect yourself from getting burnt, and that's okay, but we have to defeat it. So once you identify it, you have to take action in the opposite direction and prove the limiting belief is wrong. Once you identify this, you're going to need to take action in the opposite direction. You have to prove that the limiting belief is wrong. You have to prove this, and you need to see tangible evidence that maybe this belief that you've had your entire life is wrong and is no longer serving me. So in the case of being shy, I'm shy. I'm just afraid to speak my mind because I might be turned down. I might be turned away. I might get hurt. I might get burnt. It's just a defense mechanism to protect myself from embarrassment. It's a defense mechanism here to protect you. But you'll never win by never taking a risk. And that is true. So the next time someone says something that's racist or something you don't believe in, stand up, speak up for yourself. It's going to be weird, but this is just one challenge of many. And if you can do this over and over again, this is the foundation of actually changing your life. You're proving to others and to yourself that you are capable of standing your own ground, of being a man, and rooted in your deep masculinity. Obviously, I have more to say, but that's enough for this video, video 1. So I urge you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please comment your limiting belief and how you defeated it. This will give courage to other subscribers to do the same. Until then, peace out, guys.